Did the train wreck of the year 2020 make you have an existential crisis? If yes, are you Gen Z? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, if you answered yes to both questions, this podcast is for you, me, and everyone else who doesn't have a clue on how to live this human life on this confusing planet. I'm Ches, your host for the How Do You Even Human podcast, available now on YouTube and everywhere you can get your podcast. And um, when it comes to existential crisis, I think we've all had this. But for this podcast, I think we're just gonna, verbalize it more. And now we're gonna have a friend, so we're not alone in this like I don't know crazy thing that we're doing. So yeah, just to introduce to you my friend who's gonna have an existential crisis with me in today's podcast. Let me introduce to you Bella Engalla. Woo! Hello, Bella.
Hello, hello.
So
Hello,
how are
everyone.
you?
I'm
How are
Bella.
you? Did you have an existential
I'm doing
crisis so
great.
far?
Oh my God. I, I just had a huge existential crisis. Like in the beginning of quarantine, it was just like, especially after I graduated from my school, I was like, what am I doing with life? Like,
Right?
man, quarantine thoughts, they just hit different. Like, like I was just, I feel like in the beginning, everyone was kind of like, not doing anything, like staring at the ceiling in their room.
I
And it was
know.
just kind of like, I don't know, you can totally like go off into your own thoughts and just like question everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really makes you question everything. Like when you're isolated and you're alone, like, what am I doing with my life? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what the hell? So
Oh,
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
exactly what we're gonna do today. So I'm sorry, Bella. So yeah, just to
All
start
good.
off
I'm here
our
for it.
existential crisis Gen Z edition, we're gonna start off with Gen Z. Let's talk about Gen Z. So, do you like your generation? Because you're also part of Gen Z. So, what do you like about Gen Z compared to the other generations?
Okay. I feel like, maybe I'm probably biased, but like I really like our generation. I think that sorry, my mom just walked in.
It's okay.
I think that um I think there's a lot of great things about our generation. I think that um, we're very aware of the different issues that are happening around us, and I think that that can be like a good thing and a bad thing. Like it's a good thing, of course, because it means that we can positively impact things around us. But I also think that it makes us hyper aware of everything, and it comes to the point where I don't know if you're familiar with like empathy fatigue, which is basically,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, dude. Oh my
yeah,
god. Like I think with our generation, I think like individuality is like it's like that's the thing of like the boomers. Like I'm gonna, be by myself and work hard and like but now with our generation, it's like no, we need to like help others. And that's like kind of like a bad thing for kind
yeah,
of like
exactly.
empathy fatigue, like for our mental health. Because like I'm worrying too much about this world and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I just think that like when you're constantly bombarded with different kinds of news, especially from things happening around the world, it's kind of just like it can be a lot to take in, and I don't think that older generations understand how much of an impact that can be on like especially a young person's mind. Um, and yeah, it could like of course like what I said, it could be a good thing and a bad thing. Like if you look at, I remember I think it was earlier this year when climate change was like a really strong topic, a big topic, especially with like Greta Thunberg, and she's also like
Oh
a member of
yeah.
our generation.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that like it was like the topic of climate change was just blowing up on so many different platforms,
Yeah.
and I thought that was really incredible. So that was definitely like a really really big thing, and I was like, dang, like I'm so proud to be part of Gen Z, especially when that was
I
happening.
know. And
It was cool.
yeah, and I still can't believe like, the other generations like others like still don't believe that climate change is a real thing. Like,
Yeah,
dude, it's
dude,
that's like
for sure.
science. Like what?
I know, I know. I mean, Like I was taking a class on this before, right? About like global cultures and society. And it said that like climate change is basically a scientific consensus. And like like most scientists would agree that it's a real thing. But the only reason why people think that it's not real is because of like the different like political groups or like the different like the cultures that they're a part of. So it's more of like a group think kind of thing. They're not like they don't really listen to the facts of it. So it doesn't matter like how much more news will be produced on climate change because it, like if it doesn't reaffirm their pre-existing conceptions, then they're just going to completely ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a crazy
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah, so crazy. And like, like now is like we've talked about like the good things about like our generation with how we're like, accepting of, different cultures, our differences, like, science, climate change, all of that stuff. What do you not like about Gen Z? Is there
Okay.
hmm
What
'cause
do
we
I
can
not like? I think that we tend to hmm I guess like I guess this is like a thing, but like I feel like mental health is like something that well,
it's like
I don't know how to say it.
romanticized?
Yeah, I guess in a way cuz like I don't know. I feel like I've heard so many things of like people talking about like depression and things like that. And like I think it's great that people are talking about it, but I feel like it comes to the point where it becomes normalized.
Oh
And I
yeah.
don't think that like mental disorders should be normalized, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
true.
does that make
And
sense?
it like it
I don't know, because
removes.
like it's good to talk about it. Yeah, it removes like the seriousness of it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like, the people who
Yeah.
actually have it, like who are like diagnosed with it, like don't actually like have the voice. It's just like people who just, normalized it and say, "Oh, I'm depressed" and stuff like that. Yeah. I think that's like
Yeah.
other generation. But yeah, overall, what do you think about our generation? Is it gonna change the world? Is it gonna be like, the other generations of like, activists? Because like, in the previous generation, like, during the 70s, like they were activists too. So what can you say about, the future of our generation?
I think. I mean, I think that. Hmm, it'll depend a lot. We could either go both ways if I'm being honest. Um, I think that if we well, I think like mental health is going to be like a really big thing when we're older. It's like I mean it's a huge thing now, but I think that we have to put like even more of an emphasis on it. And I think if people get the resources that they need, especially like because things like even way past this pandemic, like things are always going to constantly change, and that's just going to be our world. Like especially with like technology and like AI and like everything's just
Mm,
gonna
yeah.
be constantly changing. And I think if we like as a generation learn to adapt to that and learn to constantly like reinvent ourselves, then I think that we could definitely change the world. There's like we have so much potential. I really believe in the power of like the youth and young people. I mean, you know this, right?
Yeah, of
Um
course, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like we have so much potential, and I like really think that we're one of like the first generations to, actually, no, it's normalized to be like socially aware. You know, I
Mhm.
think that's like the good thing about our generation. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely socially aware.
And speaking about, the future of our generation, because like, we're kind of like still college, high school. Yeah, we're in the like age bracket. Let's talk about, work and career. And like you said that everything is changing and like we're all adapting to like the current environment. Do you think, the future of, work or career will be changed? Like, will the 9 to 5, office culture, will it die or will it transform? What do you think?
Um I guess like I do think that when it comes to jobs, like we're gonna see definitely like a huge change, especially with AI. Like it's just going to completely transform the workforce if
Yeah.
you really think about it. Like there's not going to be like jobs that can be easily replaced, like I don't know, cashiers or like okay, honestly, like pilots, like because
Oh
I mean
yeah.
essentially like you only really need a pilot for takeoff and landing,
Mm-hmm.
but like when you're actually in the air, it's mostly like
Yeah.
autopilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So well, I don't think like it might be a while till those jobs are replaced, but we're definitely going to be seeing that within our lifetime at least. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of new it could be for the better though, like these
Oh
kind
yeah.
of changes, because it means that like people won't settle for those jobs and they can really use their potential for like higher level thinking and like critical thinking, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where I see it going. And I honestly don't think that having like a lifetime career will be
Oh
a thing
yeah.
in the future. I
So
mean, it like I feel like before it was just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna work really hard in high school, get into a good college, and they find a career that I'm gonna stick with for 25 years and then retire. It's not gonna be like that anymore.
yeah,
If I'm being
like so piece of advice, guys, like don't settle for like, a one-time career where, it will probably, be replaced by some technology. Like pursue your passions, guys. That's going to be the future, right?
yeah, for sure. And I think like not limiting yourself is also really important. I think that a lot of times some people go into college or like even if they get like a job, they try like they limit themselves, and I think that's just like the structure of traditional education itself. Like you choose a major and then you're kind of limited to those classes. But like I would recommend to anyone to really like go out of their comfort zone and like try a bunch of different things, because you'd never really know what you're gonna like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't hurt to um, improve your skills in different areas, right? Even if
Yeah.
you don't use them, really, like it's good to have, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. And like we have this like view in society that if you just like continue like working on this one thing, just hustling. I think that's like the old, like the capitalistic type of thing. Like if you
Yeah,
just hustle and hustle, like that's what's gonna get you like somewhere. But like yeah, it's changing. So do you think like, the hustle culture, like being overproductive, is still gonna be like a thing in the future? Because like, with the advancements in technology and like, with the change in society, especially after the pandemic, do you think like being overproductive, hustle culture and like, the 6-digit salary, all of that stuff, is that gonna be like
yeah,
still like everyone's definition of success?
yeah. I mean, I think that everyone has different definitions of success, of course, right? But I think at least in American culture, I think people work too hard. Um, and it might be the same in the Philippines, but I'm not completely sure. But
Mm-hmm.
like people don't really take vacations, and because it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, like I should just work, 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 and then I'll take a vacation later on. But they never really do it because I don't know, things come like things get in the way, they get busy and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But it's just
Yeah, I think we still need like to have that like work life balance, because like work isn't
yeah,
everything, career isn't everything. And now talking about like work life balance and like, balancing your career and the relationships you have, your personal relationships. Let's talk about relationships. Ooh. So do you have
oh
any relationship right now, Bella?
no, I don't. I'm not in any relationship right now,
Yeah.
which is
That's a single life, guys. Let's go. So yeah,
yeah.
do you believe in like do you believe in love? Do you believe in like soulmates, all that stuff? Like does that stuff work? How does the relationship work?
I just think that man, wow, difficult topic.
Difficult, yeah, existential crisis or whatever.
um, well, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that when it comes to like love, like romantic love, I think that you can have multiple soulmates. I mean, I don't really think that like it's like, oh, only one person and like you're
That's
made for
true.
that person, you know? But like I have like like you can have like friendships as like friends as soulmates, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like me and my best friend, like my little muffer from Mexico, like we're definitely soulmates, and like I love her so much. I mean, it's just like I think soulmates is just like that person that like you really, really, really bond with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You really connect on like a deeper, like deeper,
Exactly.
deeper level. That's true.
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah, I really agree on like having, multiple soulmates in your life because there's 7 billion people in the world. So like just one of them is going
Exactly.
to be your soulmate like yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So now let's like go next to that cuz like, I'm still like, the relationship topic is kind of like to me. Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk
Okay.
about it.
And now let's talk about technology. Like we already talked about this like in the work or career. So yeah, I think we had this like conversation before about like AI, social media, this type of stuff. So will technology be our doom or our savior? What do you think?
Man, it's okay. Where it's heading now,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably our doom. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, just cause like okay, I mean, in recent years, like social media has just like boomed, basically, right? And you can
Yeah.
just, I mean, I know that like you've watched the Social Dilemma, have you?
Dude, yeah, that stuff scared
Oh my
me.
god,
It scared me
dude,
so much.
it's honestly scary. But like, I mean, you know, like when these tech guys first created it, they weren't anticipating all the things that came out of it, right? Like they were just thinking, oh, like we're gonna spread love and positivity with the like
Mm-hmm.
button, but they didn't realize that it would be the cause of like depression in teens or
Yeah.
like because they're getting enough likes, and it's just kind of like, wow, yeah, like there's so many things that like people create, and I think that's just human nature. Like humans always will create things, always will innovate and
Yeah.
invent, but they're just not good at looking at the future consequences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I think like I think technology we always like I don't think people really do make it for like most people make it for some like greater good for to like connect people.
Yeah.
Facebook was there to like connect people from all over the world, but like now it came from like now it's like where you get your validation from, and like it's also a way of like radicalizing people. I'm just like
Yeah.
it's so scary.
And like collecting data too. I
Yeah.
mean, man, I
Mm.
read this book, dude. Do you know what is it called? 21 21 lessons for the 21st century.
I've
And
heard of it, but like I
yeah,
haven't read it.
man,
Yeah.
dude, you have to watch it. Book like blew my mind. Like it's actually insane. And I think I would recommend like any Gen Z person to read it because it's like, I mean, because it was things that like it covered topics that I knew and that I heard about, but it was just like it really went in depth into every single thing, and it was kind of like, I mean, I think that more people needed to be talking about this, but you know, like what we said before, it's like we're all hyper aware
Mhm.
generation. It's oh my
Mhm.
god, so much. But this, I really feel like this book it helps you navigate like what exactly each of these hot button topics are, because like they're really important. And if people like us, like not I don't know, tech moguls in Silicon Valley, or like all these people, or like freaking Elon Musk, like those people, like
Yeah.
they're the ones making the decisions, and we don't know anything about it. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna be like pawns in a chess game. Do you know what I mean? Like just reacting to the things that they decide, like a small group of people decide.
Yeah, like we're not even like aware that you know stuff like these are like controlling our life and controlling our decisions. Like I think that's it's not even like a war. Like I saw somewhere like it's not even a war on like the physical war like before, like World War I, World War II. It's now like a war on like who's controlling what and stuff like that. And with all
Oh,
these like yeah, with all these like technology stuff, like we're losing that's like even though we're like hyper aware now, like you've said, like we're also becoming like less aware because like these like external factors are you know they're hidden. So now with everything, like, being aware of everything, being self-aware, now let's talk about self and individuality. Do you think
Okay.
that now in this society where we're like overstimulated with everything, and like we have different roles to fulfill, do you think that there is an authentic self? Ooh.
Damn. See, this is the thing that I was like also interested in during quarantine, of like the idea of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like for CONVO Mag, we're supposed to, push out our second issue on self. But
Oh
basically,
well.
man, oh well, it'll happen sometime. But
Sometime.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
basically, I was interested in that in the beginning of quarantine, because I think that truthfully, like I don't think that there is self. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some people would say that your self is like your soul, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's like a religious belief, and like I respect that most
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But for me, I think that self is, it's not like an authentic self. Like a self is like something is that is isolated,
Yeah.
and the environment is like trying to affect it, but it still stays at its core, like your genuine self, and it never changes. Like I think that your self always changes,
Yeah.
constantly changes.
Yeah, and like cuz like in communication, we have this like topic on performance and how you perform your like everyday self. And it's like um how people think of the self, it's like a peach versus an onion. Like a peach, we think that, if we remove everything, we have that like core authentic self. But like with
Yeah,
an onion, it's like you just peel, like there's surface layers and there's like deeper layers, but like when you just peel everything, nothing's left. So all those like layers, whether it's like surface level, you show that to people on like first meetings and all of that stuff, or you have that like inner layer where you show
yeah,
to your soulmate or your friend, like that's like the self. Like we're an
yeah.
onion, not a peach.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a good analogy, actually. That's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah,
um
and
yeah.
um like with the self, like we're taught to be like, express yourself, be an individual, don't care about what others think and stuff like that. There's also like a downside to that. So do you think that individuality is a good thing or a bad thing, especially in today's society?
um Man, I think, well, this is just my perspective, but I think that individuality is like a great thing. I think it's great to express yourself, and this, like,
Mm-hmm.
especially being editor-in-chief of Convo Magazine. Like, I'm all about expressing yourself. I'm all about expressing yourself.
Yes, flex that stuff,
Yeah.
girl.
And I don't want to put a plug, but check out convo.mag on
Yeah,
Instagram.
we're
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna put that
check it
in the
out.
description. I'm gonna put, check it
Yes,
out.
check it out. But yeah, I do think I could see the downside though. I remember I was taking this course, and it was talking about how like different cultures have different beliefs on individuality. So I think like in Asian culture, for example,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of it is about conforming to what other people want you to be, and like that, like a large part of what you think about yourself depends on what others think of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
um
there's some benefit to
yeah.
that. Yeah, and
For
and there's
sure.
some like benefit to that because at least you're thinking about what others need, and like you're not being selfish and you're not being like, but there's like but it's also good to be an individual, being yourself, and like, not caring about what others say about you, like in the West. I think you can like clarify on that.
Oh yeah. Like I guess in Western culture, a lot of it is about, like individuality and like self-expression. And a lot of it is focused on, it's gonna be me, and like I'm gonna be the one to succeed on my own. Um, and like I think that's a great thing. I mean, like if you look at like the US, like there's a lot of innovators and like a lot of people that it's a lot of like can do mentality, you know what I mean? I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
great thing about Americans, right? But it's also when they interact with other cultures, I think when cultures interact with each other and they don't
Oh
understand like
yeah.
the differences, that's where problems might happen, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like in business or I don't know, any kind of interactions. It's like they have both sides have to understand that like, oh, you know, they think differently from me. No culture, like I'm not saying the West is better than the East or like
Mm-hmm.
Eastern cultures are better than the West. Like they all have different beliefs, and it's up to you to take like what you see, what your environment tells you, and apply that to yourself, right?
Yeah, be
Um,
pragmatic. Like, just do what
yeah,
works for you. Yeah.
for
And
sure.
mm-hmm.
And like that's something that I feel like I've had to deal with because you know I'm Filipino American and like I definitely have like Filipino roots, and I spent some time in the Philippines, but also I'm still like American. So there's like different influences that I've had to choose from, and like I apply that to my own life. So there's definitely like like my like Eastern views on individuality and like also like respecting family. Like that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
something that's important to me. Expressing yourself and also like leading your own way. That's also something that I value greatly.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have these like different choices in life where we could just, take what we want and just, live your best life. And now that, I've talked about like
Yeah.
choices in life and stuff. Do you think that, we're determined by this, the universe, this fate, or are we determined by like our own
Like
choices? Like, do you think we have like total free will, or do we already have this like, you
oh
know thing already set for us by
oh
the
okay.
universe, I guess?
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a valid question. Okay, so like I've talked about this a lot. I've debated with my parents and my sister about this a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that the concept of free okay, people will hate on me for this, but like I don't really
Say it.
believe in free will. I think that
Same, same. Ooh,
you
people are gonna
too?
hate us. Yeah, yeah. I don't believe in like we have free
No,
will,
people
but like to
dude,
to
all
an
the comments
extent.
are like,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I know. Dude, literally like you lose like 10 subscribers right now
Oh,
because like people are like, oh,
oh
just no.
no, she's not godlike or whatever.
Yeah, I know, for
But
sure.
yeah, go on, go
Oh my
on.
god. Um, but yeah, I just think like a lot of what happens in our life is determined, like predetermined by like genetics and also the past, like the things that happened in your past.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like I mean, it makes a lot of sense because it's like if you take like an isolated decision, you're gonna make the best choice based on what you know and like like your past. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it that way, it's like every decision that you make is already predetermined. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and
yeah.
you can't really change that, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, and like that's why I have
Right?
this like motto, like don't fear what you can't control, cuz like, there's like stuff that we really can't control, like how others think, like that's why we don't have free will, cuz like we can't really control that stuff. There's like
Yeah.
external factors, like don't be scared of that. Like that's there. It's not gonna change. Like it might, but like it's out of your control. Fear what you can control, like what's part of your like free will, that extent. Like I think our choice, we just like make do with what we have in this world, because like yeah, we don't have free will, I guess. Like that's what we believe.
Yeah. And okay, this is the thing. Some people might think of it as like a defeatist perspective of like, oh, like nothing matters. I could basically do whatever I want. But it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like, no, that's not it. It's just like you have to make decisions, make the best decisions based on what you know and like the resources that you have. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean that life sucks and that you can just give up on
Yeah,
everything. You know, like that's not what it is.
yeah, we still have a
Yeah.
choice,
I don't
but
know.
like just just be
Yeah.
realistic about it. And then like
It's yeah.
yeah. now that we've like talked about free will, and like,
Okay.
I think that's like a big thing on like Christian religions, of course, because like God gave us free
Yeah.
will and stuff like that. Now let's talk about religion and like spirituality. Bella, are you religious? Do you
Okay.
believe in a God or a higher being, or are you not? Wow, the $1 million question, guys.
Okay. Yeah, man. Ooh, controversial. No.
Hmm.
But basically, like, um, no, I think I don't know if I believe in a God, but like I think I'm open to it. Like I think I'm like hardcore like agnostic. I think that's the
Yeah.
term.
Yeah,
Like,
agnostic.
you know, yeah, like if there is a God, then great. If there isn't a God, then like that's fine too. Like it's more just kind of like I don't I don't want to go extreme both either side. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of open to anything. Um, but yeah, right, like as of now, I don't feel particularly religious.
Mm.
But honestly, like I'm planning to look into like joining like a Bible study group or even look into something from another religion just to see like what I connect with. I mean, I'm not personally like I'm not a big believer in like believing like only one thing and like staying really
Mm-hmm.
strict to that. Like I think it's good to for me like to to look at different things and just see like what you best connect with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I like cuz I've been on TikTok too much like but like I saw this like one TikTok that cuz like I'm also like kind of like I don't consider myself agnostic. Like it's more of like spiritual. Like I believe in a God, but like I don't believe
Yeah.
in religion. I wish my parents don't see this but like okay. But like yeah. Oh well, but like cuz um
They just
sorry.
come and like knock on the door and
I know.
like right?
Like we
Yeah.
just had mass
No,
yesterday and then you're saying you're not religious. Oh my gosh. Faye, we did not raise you like that.
for real. Oh my God.
But yeah, like okay, back to that like TikTok stuff. Like, cause in science we have like energy is transformed. It's not destroyed. And like I think that's why there's air, like everything in this world is like dynamic, everything is like changing. That's why that's why the rivers are like still flowing because of like energy and stuff. And I think like there has to be something that's like moving everything. There has to be like that energy that's like transforming, and like because like it's never destroyed and it's like everlasting. So yeah, that's why I'm more of like a
Oh, she's a
spiritual.
hippie.
Oh, heavy. Um, yeah,
I love that,
I've been
honestly.
doing yoga these past few days, so like,
Oh, oh, I see you. I see you. Oh,
yeah,
dude, I love yoga, honestly. Like, it's really, really good and so relaxing.
I
And
know.
like meditation. Oh my God, have you done meditation?
Yes.
Bro,
Oh
I
my
need,
god, it's so calming. Like, it just makes you
yeah,
aware of everything, like
it's
hyper
so
aware.
heavy.
Yeah.
For real. For real. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Yeah. I just want to be like calm, especially with like everything that's like overwhelming us right now. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah.
Everyone should
We
meditate.
Yeah, recommend like yoga or meditation, because like yoga has a bit of meditation too, guys. And now like
Yes,
that
exactly.
and now that like we've talked about like religion and like what's like happening in this like world, let's talk about death. Ooh, death. Ooh, are you
Okay.
scared of death? What do you think happens after death? Hmm.
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 I don't really know what happens after. Well, okay. I would think that Hmm. I mean, I also believe in the fact that like energy never dies, like it only gets passed on, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be like that would point to reincarnation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like honestly, I would just love to be reincarnated as like a sea turtle or something.
Same.
That would
Same.
be nice.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they just vibe and like they
I
just
know.
oh man, it just seems like such a nice life, you know?
I want to be reincarnated as a flamingo. I'm sorry, that was so random, but like,
Dude,
That's so
I could
pretty.
totally see yourself in that. I'm just saying, you're like, that's like your spirit animal.
I know.
No,
I
seriously.
Oh my god, dude, you give me more of like like you give me a tiger, but then you also give me like a bird from like a Brazilian forest. I don't know.
Yes, I
I
love
think we're
that.
just like like that's what we think about
I
death,
love that.
guys. We're gonna be reincarnated as like birds or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna be awesome animals. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
So
love
like
that.
if
No,
you think,
seriously,
yeah,
that
but like if you think like we're gonna be like we're gonna be like, we're just gonna oh my god, I'm so sorry. We're just gonna be like reincarnated.
what is this podcast?
Oh my god. Whew.
How did
Whew.
we, wait, how did we go from like talking about tech and transforming the job market to freaking talking about reincarnating? Is oh my
I'm
Oh
so-
my god, I love
yeah,
this. It's
we're
so
just
fun.
like
Okay.
we're having a crisis, guys. We're having a crisis.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you think that like we're gonna be reincarnated as like some animal, like, are you scared of death?
Yeah.
Are you scared of death? Like,
I mean,
mm.
I think I'm more scared of like I'm not really scared of like dying per se, but I feel like I'm more scared of not being able to do all the things that I wanted to do
Oh,
before
true.
dying, you know?
True. Because, like, with our
Yeah.
generation, like, every, I think Gen Z, like, I think, like, the common thing about it is you just want to die. Like,
Yeah.
I swear, like, everyone
Bro.
on TikTok just, like, because, like, TikTok is full of Gen Z people, everyone just wants to die. And I think it's just because of the
Yeah.
world. But honestly, like, if you really think about it, like, you're gonna be scared of, like, on the actual, like, time of your death, if especially if you like done things you haven't like you've always wanted to do
Yeah,
and you haven't like fulfilled it yet. Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think when people say like see that's the thing what I said about like the whole mental health thing, right? Like sometimes it gets like desensitized and it's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe we shouldn't be joking about this, you know?
That's true.
Um but you know, like when people say that, like they obviously like okay, not obviously, but some people mean it, but like a lot of people
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like a lot of people they don't mean it, but um yeah, it's something that like you, you know there's a lot of things that like people can look forward to in life, and like if that's something I would change about our generation, it would be to like not talk about things that way, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or just kind of like that shouldn't be normalized, like it shouldn't be normalized for you to say
Yeah.
I want to die, because like I mean okay, any other generation, if you say I want to die, like they'd be like, oh,
Oh.
like are you
Uh,
okay, you know what I mean? But
you
like here
you
like
crazy
nowadays
or
it's like
whatever.
yeah, like literally like anyone in a Gen Z group of friends, they'd be like, "Oh, I want to die," and everyone would be like, "Same," you know, like it's just kind of like,
But
fuck,
TBH, like if I was like in that friend group, I would say like, yeah, I
yes,
wanna die too.
dude, same. It's just like so normal, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, well, but if you think about it, it's like
It's so
maybe
sad.
it's just
Like it's so
normal.
normalized in that
Yeah, yeah,
way.
literally.
Like live,
That's kind of what
guys.
I meant,
Live a
but
little.
no, I know. I don't know. I just want people to realize that, like, you know, there's like obviously like you know now it's kind of just like especially as teenagers it's kind of just like anything happens and we're like freaking out and we're like oh my god the world is ending, but it's like things will pass, anything will pass, and that's what I've been trying to tell myself, you know, like there's been a lot of disappointments, canceled plans that have happened this year, I'm sure,
Mhm.
like you too as well, I'm sure, and
Mhm.
everyone,
Mhm.
yeah, no. Yeah, but it's like these things will pass, you know what I mean, and it's
Yeah.
not enough to like give up on life because there's so much to look forward to, we're all young, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And nothing's permanent, nothing is permanent.
I very much agree that there is so much to look forward to. Like there's so much more to life than like in your own like little bubble. So like explore
Yeah,
and like just yeah. once again, live a little and live your best life. And now, like, we've talked about death and
Yes.
like everything
Yes.
about, like, and yeah, we've said that with our generation. Like, I hope you can, like, not normalize, like, like, I want to die, and like normalize a little bit of, like, feeling alive and just
Yes.
living. So just
Exactly.
to wrap up everything, what is
Okay.
the meaning of life, of living? The ultimate
Big
existential
question.
question.
Man, the big question. Man, I think like I think the meaning of life honestly is like finding your purpose and accomplishing the goals that you set out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, honestly, like if you really, really look at, I guess, like the big picture, anything that like humans do is
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, this might be like nihilistic. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Nihilistic or something like that? Yeah.
Nihilistic. Yeah.
But nihilistic, yeah. But like if anything that we do, like no matter how big or how small it is, it doesn't really mean anything in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
If you like really zoom out, like the universe is huge and it's like
Yeah.
you could be freaking Elon Musk, or you can be like like a freaking fisherman in the Philippines or something.
Uh
But like
huh.
the impact that you make is really, really small compared to the whole scheme of things. But you can use that as a way to sort of feel bad about yourself and like be like, oh, nothing I do matters. Or you can take that information and let it be liberating. You know what I mean? Like there's like that could mean
Yeah.
that like thing. Like
Yeah. I
why
love
if you
that.
yeah, if nothing matters, you can do anything. You know what I mean? Like you like because it doesn't really matter in the end.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
true. Like, do
exactly
it. We're all just in a big floating rock this,
yes,
in the middle of space. So, like, why are you listening to others, like, how to live your life? Just like make do with what you
exactly.
want. Like, make yourself happy. We're just in a floating
Yeah.
rock.
Yes, exactly. We're all specks floating around.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I mean. Just
Mm-hmm.
go out and do whatever you want to do. Like that's why I try to really push myself often, like when it comes to like something that I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I might fail, or like I won't achieve this goal. Like that's why I'm not gonna do it. But it's kind of just like, oh wait, nothing really matters, and like we're all specks in the universe anyways. Why shouldn't I do it? You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's just how it be.
Yeah.
That's just how it be.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I love
guys,
that.
just remember that we're all just specks in the universe. We're just all like, no, the meaning of life. It can mean nothing or it can mean everything. So just you do you, okay? So now just to like
Yeah.
end this podcast, because like we always end this like with one statement, because I want to give my listeners, no matter how few they are, a piece of advice. So the the question or the prompt, I guess, is to be a better the bottom line is that to be a better human, blank.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Hmm. I think because I don't want to say something cliche, but then again,
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Well, I think to be a better human, it's to take risks, don't be afraid of failure, and remember that we're all specks in the universe anyway, so nothing really matters.
Yeah. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah. Um so yeah, thank you so much for being in this podcast. I swear, like, this is such like a nice discussion, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
it made me
I'm so
rethink
happy to be
again.
here.
Oh my god. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Another crisis.
Another
Yay.
crisis. I definitely learned a lot. Do it, do it. I definitely learned
Oh
a
my
lot,
gosh.
especially like in the work career, like technology. Cause I don't. I'm a communication student. I didn't go to like a business management or a science course. Cause like the freak. I don't
Yeah.
want to work a 9 to 5. So yeah, I definitely like learned a
Yes.
lot. And I'm gonna think about this again. Yeah, we're gonna have an existential crisis tonight, guys. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much again, Bella.
Yeah,
It's
of
so good to
course.
have you here. It's great to have you here. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching and slash or listening to today's podcast. Um, Subscribe, follow, like, comment, or whatever. And we will be chatting again in the next episode, guys. Bye bye, whatever.